Imagine a massive survey that pulls tens of millions of data points from across the internet, from social media, from news coverage, from comments left by netizens all over the world. And the result comes back. 93.40% of it is positive. Not 50%, not 70%, 93.40%. That number isn't manufactured, it's not bots, and it's not a fandom war on Twitter. It comes from an independent business research institute that dissects the brand reputation of hundreds of Korean boy group idols every single month using big data. And the name that landed that score, for the umpteenth time, is BTS's Jimin. In this video, we're going to break down exactly why Jimin, in the middle of a flood of new K-pop generations that keep getting bigger and younger, still stands at the top. We'll go through the data, we'll go through the real-world moments that make that data make sense, and we'll talk about why this phenomenon matters for the K-pop industry as a whole. If you're curious what the secret is behind this consistent dominance, stick around, because the story is a lot more interesting than a simple statistic. Okay, let's start with the source. Every month, the Korean Business Research Institute releases an individual brand reputation ranking for members of South Korean boy groups. Not just BTS. Hundreds of idols across generations, from legends like the members of Super Junior and TVXQ, all the way to rookie groups that just debuted, like Cordis. The methodology is fairly rigorous. They gather big data covering consumer participation, media coverage, communication levels, and a community awareness index. For the July 2026 period, that data was collected from mid-June through mid-July, covering hundreds of currently active boy group idols. And the result? Jimin once again finished at the very top, with a brand reputation index approaching 4 million points. For comparison, second place went to Park Ji-hoon of 101 at around 3.7 million, and Jungkook, his own bandmate, landed in third place with roughly 3.3 million points. In other words, the gap between Jimin at number 1 and the runner-up isn't a thin margin. It's a fairly wide gap for a monthly ranking like this. But the number that made a lot of people stop and think is the positive-negative sentiment analysis score. Out of every conversation and every piece of coverage mentioning his name, 93.4% was categorized as a positive reaction. Compare that to the average for other top-tier idols, who typically hover in the 70s or 80s, and you'll understand why this number became such a talking point. Interestingly, the Research Institute also broke down which keywords appeared most frequently alongside Jimin's name during that period. The three most prominent were Army, the city name Munich, and the word blonde, a reference to his new hair color, which became a major talking point. Meanwhile, on the more narrative side, the top related terms were communicate, surpass, and steadfast. Take a moment to really look at those last three words. Communicate, surpass, steadfast. If you had to sum up Jimin's July 2026 in one sentence based on those three words alone, you'd already have the picture. An idol who actively builds connection with his fans, who keeps setting new milestones, and whose reputation hasn't wavered even after more than a decade in one of the toughest industries out there. So now the question is, where did these big numbers actually come from? What really happened on the ground between June and July 2026 that made public sentiment toward Jimin this strong? The answer lies in a city in southern Germany called Munich. On July 11th and 12th, 2026, BTS held 2 nights of concerts at Allianz Arena in Munich as part of their world tour titled Erarang. This wasn't just any concert. Allianz Arena is a massive football stadium, home to Bayern Munich, with a capacity of tens of thousands. And BTS managed to fill that stadium to capacity 2 nights in a row, as part of what's being billed as the largest world tour any K-pop group has ever undertaken. 79 shows across 34 cities on 4 continents. This concert felt different because it came after a long hiatus. For 2.5 years, all 7 BTS members had to serve their mandatory military service separately, one after another, until that period officially ended earlier this year. So when they finally returned to the stage as a full lineup in front of tens of thousands of ARMY in Europe, the moment carried far more emotional weight than a typical reunion concert. And in the middle of those 2 emotionally charged nights, Jimin stole the show in his own way. The story starts at soundcheck on day 1. Jhope spotted a fan banner with a fairly ambitious message, a sort of joking theological ranking, with Erling Haaland labeled the god of football, though the god of thunder, and Jimin positioned as something beyond both of them. Jhope called Jimin over to see it. The two of them read it together laughing, and Jimin even photographed it before rehearsal continued. No one expected that small moment to become the seed of one of the most talked about moments of the entire tour. Because later that night, in front of more than 70,000 people, inside the home stadium of the very footballer Holland plays for, Jimin walked. Not danced, not a choreographed sequence. He walked, recreating the exact gait Holland is known for after scoring a goal. Head up, shoulders back, a pace that reads as unhurried yet deliberate, the stride of someone who knows the whole stadium is watching and has chosen exactly how to carry himself. The crowd's reaction was explosive. And to make things even funnier, on day 2 of the concert, Jimin even showed off a bit of football ball control skill on stage, which immediately triggered a wave of fan comments jokingly nicknaming him Park Holland, a mashup of his real surname, Park, with the footballer's last name. But it wasn't just the football joke that made those 2 nights so memorable. During the segment called Army Time, where fans' faces are shown on the stadium's giant screens, banner after banner dedicated to Jimin lit up the arena. Some fans wore full-body costumes of Chimmy, the yellow character that symbolizes Jimin. Others held up signs reading things like, "Jimin, you're my angel." There was even a touching moment when a photo of Jimin wearing a hat was shown on screen right next to a banner reading, "I love Jimin," held up by an elderly couple who were also wearing matching hats. The high point came when Jimin spotted a fan holding a banner that read, roughly, "I've been waiting 9 years for this moment." Without hesitation, Jimin took off the jacket he was wearing on stage and handed it directly to that fan. The moment instantly went viral across platforms, reshared by thousands of fan accounts worldwide, and became one of the most watched clips from the entire Arirang tour. After the concert wrapped, Jimin spent time exploring the city of Munich together with Jhope and Jimin, soaking up the local atmosphere, sharing German beers, and visiting some of the city's iconic spots. Casual moments like these, shared through the members' official social media, added another layer to Jimin's public image. Not just a performer on stage, but someone who feels genuinely grounded and close to his fans. It's no surprise, then, that in a message shared through official platforms as the tour continued, Jimin said he hoped ARMY would remember that concert as a day so full of happiness that all the time spent waiting and traveling to see them felt completely worth it. He promised the group would keep working to deliver shows that create that same feeling and thanked the fans, telling them he loved them. All of these moments combined, the spontaneous humor of the Holland walk, the generosity of gifting a jacket, the warmth of the ARMY Time interactions, and the humility of his thank you message, are exactly what got captured in the big data as the dominant Munich keyword for July. And this is precisely why Jimin's positive sentiment score climbed so high. Not because of one single massive achievement, but because of a string of small moments that consistently pointed to the same character traits. If you think Jimin's dominance in July 2026 is just about the Munich concerts, hold on, because the story is much bigger than that. In the world of fashion, Jimin's name kept making headlines too. He appeared at the Dior menswear show for an upcoming summer collection, walking alongside members of the rookie boy group Cordis. His presence at an international fashion event like this is nothing new for Jimin. He's long been known as one of the most sought-after luxury brand ambassadors, earning a rather distinctive nickname in Korean entertainment media, the sold-out king, for his ability to make products disappear from shelves. That nickname isn't just marketing spin. Real proof of it. When Jimin casually mentioned a Bobbi Brown lip balm and a Dior card holder during an interview, both products immediately saw a spike in searches and sales in the global market. This phenomenon is widely known in the industry as the Jimin effect, his ability to move consumer interest with nothing more than an offhand comment. No formal ad campaign required. Then there's the attention paid to his changing look throughout the tour, especially his new blonde hair color, which turned out to be one of the most prominent keywords in this month's reputation analysis. The combination of blonde hair with a bolder, more energetic stage presence during songs like Not Today also contributed heavily to the volume of positive online buzz throughout the European leg of the tour. And just as important, there's a major agenda still ahead. BTS is scheduled to perform at Stade de France in Paris before flying to the United States for one of the most prestigious stages in the sports world, the FIFA World Cup 2026 final halftime show, sharing the stage with major names in international music. Imagine the scale of exposure Jimin and BTS stand to gain from a stage that size, watched by hundreds of millions of people around the world simultaneously. If we zoom out, what makes July 2026 so remarkable for Jimin isn't a single achievement. It's an accumulation across multiple fronts at once. The music world through a massive world tour, the fashion world through his presence on international runways, the commercial world through his influence on consumer trends, and the sports world through his upcoming collaboration with one of the most watched events on the planet. All of these fronts moved forward together, and all of them fed into the same outcome: a public reputation that keeps getting stronger. Now let's talk about why this phenomenon actually runs deeper than simply saying Jimin is popular this month. The K-pop industry moves incredibly fast. Every year, dozens of new groups debut, hundreds of new faces emerge, and public attention shifts easily from one trend to the next. In the middle of that relentless churn, holding the top spot in a brand reputation survey month after month, not just once, but repeatedly, is a far harder achievement than going viral for a moment. Looking at the top 10 individual boy group brand reputation rankings for July 2026, the lineup is remarkably diverse. There's Park Ji-hoon from 101 in second place, several members of the new generation rookie group Cordis, and also legendary names like G-Dragon of Big Bang, and several Super Junior members who've been in the industry for more than 2 decades. Across that wide span of generations, Jimin still came out on top. That's exactly what makes the word steadfast from the keyword analysis such a fitting description. It's not about being a trending topic for a moment because of one big story. It's about a consistent, positive image built from many small moments reinforcing each other over time. How he interacts with fans, how he responds to spontaneous stage moments with genuine humor, how he stays humble amid major achievements, and how he continues maintaining two-way communication with his fanbase through official platforms. Interestingly, in the months leading up to July, Jimin's positive sentiment score was recorded slightly differently depending on the institute and calculation method. Some recorded 92.57%, others 93.02%, and the most recent figure came in at 93.4%. While the exact number fluctuates slightly from month to month depending on the data source, one clear and consistent pattern emerges. The score is almost always above 90%. That shows his public image foundation is genuinely solid, not the result of a single viral spike. And when we talk about the broader entertainment industry, an achievement like this carries real weight. A high brand reputation directly influences how eager major brands are to sign an idol as a product ambassador, how much promoters are willing to invest in a concert tour, and ultimately, how long an idol's career can last in such a fiercely competitive industry. So, if we put it all together, that 93.4% positive reaction figure didn't fall out of the sky. It's the result of 2 nights that set Munich on fire through a Holland-style walk and a jacket handed to a fan who'd waited 9 years. It's the result of his presence on the world's fashion stages, his influence that can sell out a cosmetic product with nothing more than a casual comment, and the major agenda still ahead, from Paris all the way to the World Cup stage. More than that, this number is proof that in the middle of a K-pop industry that keeps changing and keeps churning out new faces every year, there's someone who has proven that a strong reputation is built through consistency, not a single viral moment. That's why this video isn't titled, Jimin is popular this month, but Jimin proves he's an unshakable idol. Because the 3 keywords that emerged from this month's big data analysis, communicate, surpass, and steadfast, describe a long journey, not just a fleeting spotlight. And that wraps up our full breakdown of Jimin's dominance in July 2026. So, out of everything we covered today, which moment stood out to you the most? Was it the jacket he gave to a fan in Munich, the Holland walk that broke the internet, or the huge World Cup stage still ahead of him? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to this channel so you never miss the latest K-pop updates, and turn on notifications so you're always the first to know whenever there's breaking news. See you in the next video.